Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative Podcast. It's the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions from the worlds of TV, film, pop culture, social media, sports, everything really, depending on the guest. We talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis, and on social media, you know me as PD Beats. You will recognize my guests from a lot of amazing TV shows, including The Bernie Mac Show, Z Nation, and In the Cut. We're with Kellita Smith. Kalita, welcome to Popternative.
Oh, hi. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on the show. And it's one of those things I was telling you before we started. I mean, it's difficult for myself as a host because you've done so many amazing things. So we got to make sure we kind of talk about it all.
Listen, you live as long as me. Come on.
So, I mean, I want to know kind of when it started for you because, you know, whether it's, you know, you call it acting, performing, I like to call it storytelling. When did Kellita Smith decide that she wanted to be a storyteller?
Well, that's interesting. Thank you. Most comedians are storytellers. So I pay homage to that. It's when I got fired from 4 jobs in the 1900s. The 90s, I tried the 9 to 5s and I didn't cut it. And then I realized that there was an artistic side of myself that needed to be expressed. And I still didn't know what it really was because my background was dance. But I landed a play and I fell in love with it. I discovered passion and never looked back.
Dancing is
That
also
was 30 years ago.
Dancing is also technically storytelling as well. I'm just saying.
It's very freeing. I should get back to it. How about that?
Absolutely. No, it's great. I mean, we were talking about it before. I mean, you know, the Bernie Mac Show was a show on Fox that, like, a sitcom that people watched all the time, and it was a show that people watched as families. I know my family, we watched it every week. You know, you being on the show, I mean, just like it's a simple question, but like, what was it like? Like, what was it like working with that cast, and what was it like working with the Bernie Mac?
No, it was fantastic. And so I hosted a dinner party last night for my niece, which is why I have the dog. But and the kids came over. So Jeremy Suarez that played Jordan, he was over last night with his wife, and Camille Wimbush, who played Vanessa, was over last night. And you know, we bonded in a simple thing of getting a job, but really what came together was we connected as a family. So what I would say how it was enriching, and it's a treasure, you know, because these are relationships that will last forever, you know, and even though that Bernie's gone, he's still with us, you know, he brought us together. If it wasn't for him, you know, we would not be the family that we are. So it was magical.
And you have to understand that when he passed away, this was before, you know, the social media age of, you know, finding out the news on social media. So I remember finding out from my parents reading the newspaper before I went to school that he passed away. And it affected me for the whole day, the whole week. Like, it was really tough to swallow that he passed away.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I mean, you know, listen. And you met him through the screen, you know, and just getting to know him in person, he leaves such an impression that it's still tough to kind of adjust to the fact that he's gone. And he's been gone for a minute, you know, but it's still like it's a powerful loss. It's not even just a loss or a passing or you know, it was a gift that we had him. I'm still getting to the point to calling it having him as a gift, because it's still like, wow, you know, wow. And, you know, and during the show, I was the only other adult. So a lot of my memories are with him. And so when I remember stuff, and even when I go through it with the kids, it's almost like I'm alone remembering these things, you know?
And it's funny because I remember it was one of the Christmas episodes of the Bernie Mac Show. And one of his lines, I don't remember the exact line, but it was just like that you guys got fast food and you were eating it, and the episode was all about tradition, right? And he was saying we're gonna make it a tradition. And then what was the name of the younger daughter, like your younger daughter on the show?
Brianna,
And it
baby
was
girl
like,
Brianna.
yeah, and then he said, I don't know if you remember this, now even though Brianna's eggnog tastes like muff wash or something like that.
Oh yeah, because she couldn't have it. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So like,
No, but it's and so me and the kids, we laugh about a lot of that because a lot of their new beginnings or their teaching happened in the show, happened in the episodes. Just like baby girl learned to tie her shoe literally in that episode.
yeah.
Really, I taught her how to tie her shoes for real.
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
I got goosebumps because it's magical. It was so magical.
But the
and
delivery,
I think
the delivery of that stuff, like those jokes and those like explanations were like gold. Like it was comedy gold.
yeah, he was brilliant. Listen, he was brilliant. It's a true testament to when you're ready and it's your time and it links up and you're in alignment with that. It's brilliant. You're just brilliant at that time.
For sure. And no, like the cast and crew of Bernie Mac, like I love that show. And but moving now to I didn't want to talk about Z Nation because obviously, you know, in the last like 10, like the decade, like zombies have just nonstop been like a hot, trendy kind of topic. And you're in Z Nation, which is a very popular zombie show. And my question, it's a two-part question. Part A is, what did you know about zombies and that kind of fandom before you signed on to Z Nation? And then part B is just, what was it like being part of that, like that world, that apocalyptic zombie world on set?
I didn't know shit. Okay, all I did was audition for a character that resonated with me because actually they didn't give me a script. I didn't even know it was really about zombies because truth be told, I really don't get into horror because when you grow up in the inner city, you don't want to just be afraid on purpose. You know, you grow up with that. So it ain't like you're seeking to go see horror. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Comedy comes first and then maybe drama. And usually horror is a little bit last. But getting back to that, I resonated with the character and I resonated with the words. And when I went in for the audition, it was interesting because I only auditioned twice, which was probably the first time in my whole life that I've ever only auditioned twice to get a job. And when I got the job, the first day we had to pike a zombie, and I had no idea what the freak that was. Now, what I did have on my side was martial arts in my background and fencing. So they felt that I could shoot a gun and I should have a sword. And I was like, oh, a machete. And I was like, okay. I leaned over to Keith Allen, who played Murphy, and I said, what's a pike? He said, girl, you got the lead and you don't know a pike.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, you're a lead and you don't know what that
Nope. Because the great thing about Carl Schaefer, he knew in order to do a different type of zombie show, you needed characters, you needed depth, you needed heart, you needed someone who can help move a story along. Not, coming in to do the stunts and all that stuff like that. You're going to eventually get that.
Oh, yeah, continue. What? Yeah. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. To tie into your question, the B part is that it's the work that really needed to be laid out on screen in order for it to really have the richness that the show really brings to the table. And it was awesome. It was awesome. I did mostly really all my own stunts. And it was an experience because it taught me I would never want to do the apocalypse.
For sure. No. Yeah.
No.
I watched a movie on Netflix yesterday called The Silence. And it's about these prehistoric, like, it's with Stanley Tucci, and it's about, these bird creatures that kind of look like dinosaurs come and just attack us all. And no.
Yeah, no, hell no. And you know, there's no Starbucks in the apocalypse. You know, you can't get no Popeye chicken sandwich just on the,
I do want to
it's
get
no bubble baths.
I do want to get to In the Cut because I want to talk about that, but what it's also like Z Nation was like there's a few zombie shows. There's Z Nation and The Walking Dead. What was it like too being part of a show that kind of had, because I like people could see it as competition, but I kind of saw it as like all the zombie fans are gonna watch it all type thing. You know what I mean? Like people that watch. Well, like with Walking Dead, like people watch The Walking Dead, but people also watch Z Nation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think they're two different kind of rhythms.
They're different, yeah.
They're two different type of rhythms to the approach of the apocalypse. I think ours have a little bit more movement. It kind of has a little bit more humor, you know. Unfortunately, I don't believe that the apocalypse will be given any type of funny moments.
No.
So The Walking Dead may have nailed that because ain't nothing about they show funny.
There's a lot of relationships in The Walking Dead. Like it's very relationship heavy at times.
Well, and I think to their promise of the success of their show is that that's really what would be important in a very severe time like that, you know, in developing relationships and creating them and probably missing them. You know, I didn't see it as competition. I just saw it as you know, a genre that is happening to be able to, you know, bring about a couple of more perspectives of the apocalypse.
Oh, for sure. I really enjoyed Z Nation. Your character I'm sure that was a fun character to play.
Oh, she was awesome. Are you fucking kidding me? She was badass. She was methodical. She was on it. She was on top of it. First of all, if you ever go upstairs to my office and see my bills, I'm not on it. But she was, you know, courageous. She was courageous, and it gave me a chance to rise to the occasion. So I appreciate Paul Schaefer and Sci-Fi.
So a more recent project. I mean, you've been doing it for quite some time, but there's still. I mean, In the Cut is a show that is still going right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
it is.
I mean, barbershop life, right? Like, I mean, there's not much more to say about it. I mean, like I love the workplace comedies. So I mean, I mean, so what was it like working on that with that cast? And can you talk a little bit about like what we can expect from like the new seasons and where can people watch In the Cut right now?
Yeah, In the Cut on Bounce TV. The great thing is I was working on In the Cut as well as Z Nation. So I would leave Spokane, Washington from shooting Z Nation and probably have a downtime about a month and then jump into In the Cut. In the Cut is now airing its 6th season.
Wow. Time flies, eh? Yeah. Doesn't time fly?
Yeah, well, so does the checks. So, and the great thing before all of this COVID, we ended up shooting season 7. So that's a gift and a blessing in that. And it's great, like you said, workplace comedies. And I'm a salon owner and a hairstylist, and I can't do no hair for real. That's why my hair is in a ponytail right now. And it took me all of 45 minutes before I got on here with you to get this going. I work with an awesome cast. Like I've been really, really, really blessed in my career to work with some awesome people, like some real talent. Yeah, and people that I have relationships since the 1900s. Like Dorian Wilson and I worked together on Sister Sister, and we've been friends ever since. So when I got the phone call to play opposite him, it was like a no-brainer. Bentley Kyle Evans is the man who created this show. He also created the Jamie Foxx show, and I met him on Martin. So these relationships have spawned since the 90s. And so, I mean, it's effortless when you have a friendship and a connection with people you get to share the stage with or share the screen with. is brilliant and it's lovely. And I need COVID-19 to be over with so I can get back to work.
Oh,
Oops.
absolutely. I could just hear the theme song, Sister, Sister. Like, I could just hear it. The,
Yeah.
before we wrap up, though, I've been like because we talked about like the Bernie Mac show, and you know, you definitely look at. I want your opinion on this because the Bernie Mac show was a great show, was a great family sitcom, and I'm not saying that there haven't been a lot of amazing sitcoms in the last like 5-10 years, but I definitely noticed that there aren't as many as there used to be.
Yeah.
What do you think that is the reason? Is it because they're difficult to write? Is it because people wanted to like not write as many of them and work on drama and action? Like, do you know what I mean? As someone who acted on one of the most popular like family shows on Fox, the Bernie Mac show. Like, do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Like Boy
Yeah.
Meets
Yeah.
World,
Well, I
Sister
think,
Sister, like all those, right?
yeah, yeah. I think, well, first of all, that was a great time in television for, upstanding African American shows, comedies. The writing is very